Hopefully, talk a bit louder. Can you hear us down the back all right now? Cool, thank you very much. First up, if we could all rise for the karakia, please. Done by Councillor Fletcher. Thank you.
Kei noi tātou. Kaurua te tāhunu o rangi nui e tui honei, kaurua te nukuro o papatū nuku e takotonei. Tuia ki te mauri o te whenua, tuia ki te mana o te tangata, tuia ki te pono o te aroha, kia piki kia eke ki te taumata i te kai. Kia kaua e noho ki ngā pina ki tango o ngā maunga, engari me kake ki tōna tā puhi puhi. Ia he ana te ki, koe ke panuku, koe ke tangaroa, kia whāno, e rea mai te toki o haumi e, hui ei.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Fletcher. Right, item number 2 on the Taupō District Council meeting this afternoon, and just to remind people that we're live streaming around the world or around the motu in Aotearoa, and also online we have, is that Councillor Anna Park, afternoon Councillor Park, and any other councillors there? No? Okay. Apologies this afternoon. We have apologies from Councillors Rankin.
Councillor Rankin will be joining us online. And Councillor Williamson?
Online shortly. Okay, so could I just have a move that those late apologies just be accepted? Thank you, Councillor Leonard. Seconded by Councillor Shepherd. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Okay, item number 5.1. Item 3, sorry. Any conflicts of interest pertaining to the items this afternoon? No, we will carry on. Item number 4, confirmation of the minutes. No, we don't need to do that, so that's good. 5. Right. Approval of the Motuteri Reserve Management Plan this afternoon. We have Heidi, Kara as well, Erin, and Nick. Good afternoon, team. Kia ora, and welcome Councillor Greenslade, who's now online with us. Oh, right here. Sorry about that. You've been fighting the traffic. All right, good afternoon, team. Welcome. Combination of lots of work, so good to see you in this afternoon. So, Nick, I'll hand over to you first, if you like.
Thank you, Your Worship and Councillors. We're very proud to sit in front of you today. This has been a project which has taken a number of years to get to this major milestone, and it's not been plain sailing at times, but it has been incredibly rewarding for us as a project team. So
I'd have to talk a little bit louder, Nick.
Right.
Bring it into your ear.
Right.
Thank you, sorry.
This recreation reserve at Motuteri is different to most others that we have across our district. The land, and in fact the broader landscape, has deep cultural significance for Ngāti Te Rangiita and the wider Tuwharetoa iwi. And that's at the essence of why we've worked so closely with them over the last couple of years to progress the review of this management plan. Our role as a project team today as officers is simply to communicate to you the recommendation that's come through from the committee and the reasoning behind that. As you move into your debate, once we've finished presenting, it may be that those committee members wish to add further advice or views. Your job is to consider that recommendation and make a decision about whether to accept the management plan as it's been proposed by the committee or to consider any further amendments you might think are appropriate. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to Erin and to Heidi, who will talk very briefly through the process that we've been through to get to this stage and the key changes when you compare it against the management plan from 2004.
Thank you, Nick. Heidi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Worship and Council. Kia ora koutou. Ko Heidi toko ingoa. I am the project manager for the Motuteri Reserve Management Plan review. Thank you, Nick, for the introduction. I'm now going to give you a brief overview of the process we have been through for this review. The committee was first established at the end of 2023. Since then, we have had a series of workshops and meetings which have been held with the committee throughout 2024. We have done site visits to the reserve. We have held 2 public consultation periods. In the first round of consultation, at the start of the review process, we asked the community, what would you like to see in the plan? We received 112 submissions from individuals and organisations, which helped us then develop the plan. Once we had a draft, we went out for the second round of formal consultation, where we received 609 submissions. Public hearings were held on the 27th and 28th of November in the council chambers, where we heard from 31 submitters. Deliberations were held after the hearing on the 28th of November, and they were continued on the 2nd of December. Our committee worked hard to read and analyse every submission. They also had a thorough deliberation, and after listening to all speakers at the hearings. Following all the feedback received, the committee directed staff to make final edits in the draft plan. I'm going to hand over to Erin now to talk you through those changes.
Thank you, Heidi. Erin, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay, so 3 key changes from the last management plan. Number 1 is Otaitoa Bay, which is the old Mission Bay, which some of you may remember. There was an issue around illegal camping, illegal fires, people driving off the unformed road there and going, onto the foreshore. So what the committee have agreed to is restricting access there to one single defined car park rather than entry in and out, how it used to be along the whole long strip. That's number 1. Number 2, we have a new camping area at the back of the campground, camping area 1 for accommodation. That has some conditions to be able to use, to be developed by the campground owner. Conditions include some vegetation clearance conditions, because it's a S&A area, and a cultural impact assessment has to be done before any development takes place. Then we have area B, if you were to look up the hill towards the campground to the left, it's an old contaminated site area, but the lessee has said it'd be great for recreation, so a football field or a basketball court or something. So those are both approved by, is that me?
This is you.
Sorry. Both approved by the
I
committee.
I'm not too sure what you're doing wrong, Erin, but
Oh.
Just popping.
excuse me, comms, can they get fixed?
Speak slightly off the microphone.
Oh, can I bring my jingle?
Hands to yourself. No wandering hands. Sorry, Erin, you're doing well.
You're right. So those 2 new areas were approved
Yeah.
by the committee. And thirdly, the decision was related to the lakeshore of Mototiri Bay, where the campground currently is on right up onto the beach reserve there. The committee approved the end of lakeshore camping at the end of the current lease in 2038, or sooner if a new lease is signed. And again,
Just keep your hands still. Yeah.
there are
Popping, bro. Bro, it's popping.
Again, there are some conditions here, so there will be some investment required from council to develop that public reserve area. So it's conditional on that budget approval through the long-term plan process to be able to develop that public reserve area. Then camping can move away from the lakeshore. So those are the 3 significant changes, and we also have a new vision statement and some new objectives and policies.
Thank you, Erin. Nothing further to add, Nick? Okay, cool. There might be some questions. If that's okay. Is that me now? Questions, councillors? No? All pretty straightforward. The members of the committee. Councillor Westerman.
Just a query regarding the campground lease. So, just if the reserve management plan is approved today, then there's the issue of an extension, but it doesn't say extension, it talks about a new lease. So that would have to be an agreement between the 2 parties.
Yes, that's correct. So a lease has been drafted and discussions are currently underway between the lessee and council. Once the management plan's approved, if the lessee chooses to sign a new lease, then it'll just have to comply with that management plan. But it's not a lease extension, it's a new lease, a new 33-year lease.
Councillor Fletcher.
Are the negotiations just between the leasing council? Do mana whenua have input into what they may look like moving forward?
Just the leasing council. The committee only had delegation to review the reserve management plan.
Councillor Campbell.
Yeah, look, I do have a little bit to say on this. But I won't say it all at one go, but I'll just... just to make it clear to everyone, the rest of us elected members, we're not involved in the draft plan put out earlier this year for public consultation, and we have not had any workshop sessions to be able to work through any uncertainties. This report was only made available to us a week ago, and there are a number of questions I submitted, which I've received some answers, but not all. I personally do not enjoy making a properly informed and considered decision with undue haste, and I don't know how I can be the only one who feels this way today. So me personally, I'm thinking of this meeting today as a workshop for us to discuss and ask questions, and perhaps come back next year for a more considered decision. I mean, after all, this is not meant to be a tick box exercise, and indeed is why the original recommendation of staff to delegate the decision making to the committee was rejected, and was instead decided that this would be heard by full council. I mean, otherwise, I fear we could be susceptible by judicial review by any motivated enough resourced parties. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor.
First of all, I want to thank the team involved in this. They've done an enormous amount of work, and what's not seen in the documents is the endless hours that have occurred here. It surprises me that my colleague next to me has made those comments. This isn't a workshop, it is a full council meeting. There are quite literally hundreds of pages of information available for everybody sitting around this table, all of whom have had plenty of time to avail themselves. And if I reflect on an email my colleague has sent, it's not my job to read all the submissions or to read all the summary documents. Someone else can do it for me, or words to that effect. So if the member feels uninformed, it's his own fault.
Councillor Lachlan.
I didn't really have a question. I just might have been looking at you. But I agree with Councillor Taylor. We've had quite a lot of time on this matter. And again, I want to support Councillor Taylor's kōrero about our team. They've worked tirelessly through this process. And I want to thank my own committee with dealing with the Reserve Management Plan and our whānau from the Ngāti Tangata reps on there who have done just this amazing job. So part of getting that support, we agreed that the full plan would come to the full council, and that's the meeting today. So it is a slightly momentous occasion, I think, for a number of reasons, in terms of council themselves, in terms of progressing management plans, but also the nature of this. Remind everybody that part of the driver for needing to do the plan was also desire of the lessee to to do a new lease. And that can't take place unless we have a new management plan. And so just point out too that that effectively that process will come to a halt until a reserve management plan is approved by ourselves. Now that's outside of today's meeting, but nonetheless part of the wider discussion.
Thank you, Councillor Lachlan. Councillor Greenslade. No, you don't have to turn it on.
It's already going.
Already
Okay,
on.
thank you. Not to take anything away from Councillor Lachlan, who was a very capable and kind chair of this committee. I attended all of the public
Nice and loud, Sandra,
submissions.
sorry. Bit
I
louder.
need to go closer.
Yeah, right into it. Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
worried about doing an errand. Exactly. I'd like to. I attended all of the public consultations that we had. I think bar the last one, and it was extremely interesting to listen to the members of our community, particularly the hapu of Turangi-Tongariro, o Te Waitotoko, and listen to their korero and listen to their history and background. And that was a really, really important part of the process. We also listened to all the people in the camping ground who talked about their experiences with the area, and they love the area just as much as everybody else loves it. And it's a truly loved part of our district. And there were a lot of other background information that we received as well. One in particular that we received was from Nick Singers, who talked about the ecological environment and went through very, very carefully the whole area and what was in there, and I didn't know those things. So the whole process, apart from being a very deep process and a very worthwhile process, was an extremely interesting process. And the three members of Turangi-Tongariro, along with the three members of council, Councillor Taylor, Councillor Lachlan and myself, we found it a really, really deep process. It was excellent, and that was ably supported by staff who answered every single question that we asked, who sat for hours and hours and hours talking to us and going through things very, very carefully. So thank you very much for the staff involved, and also to my fellow members on the committee. I really appreciated the opportunity to have this process and part of my life, actually. It was very interesting.
Thank you, Councillor Greenslade. Any other questions or queries? Councillor Campbell.
Yeah, through the chair, just to respond to Councillor Taylor's little dig, but expand on my own views on this. I mean, I have taken an early interest in this topic, actually. I mean, I did put my name down for the committee in the first place. But I did attend one of the early committee meetings, but found that as a non-committee members, we're not granted speaking rights to ask questions. And I also found that any questions asked outside the committee process did not always get a response to. I have heard it suggested that with the 50% representation of hapu members on this committee and exclusion of campground user representation, this review was perhaps headed towards a predetermined outcome. It's hard for me to entirely dispel that impression, especially regarding the lakeshore camping aspect. I mean, at the moment, the campground is a council-managed and owned asset, as is the land it sits on, although I understand there's quibbles as to whether Crown or council ownership, but irrespective, I see it as our role is to get the best value for constituents out of it, be that a new public reserve or for it to continue on as the iconic tourist attraction that it is already, with the main issue, that I can tell, being the forced cessation of the last of lakeshore camping for Lake Taupō. And I mean, it's all very well to get another public reserve, but this does come at a cost to the ratepayer, not only in the form of new infrastructure and ongoing maintenance, but at the expense of tourist revenue and economic spin-offs for the region. Cost estimates for the proposed future works to convert the lakeside side of the campground into a day public area have been roughly estimated at $300,000, although I suspect they are very rough, and I'm not sure if that includes boat trailer parking areas, and rough estimates have a habit of exploding once people start looking in the detail. And the car park and access changes for Otaitoa Bay, am I saying that right? Otaitoa Bay at around 40,000. Look, it is all very well to give local people what they want, the district, in the form of a new lakeshore reserve with unfettered public access. But I question if people, constituents, everyone realises this does come at the expense of losing an iconic and profitable campground facility, which clearly more than pays its way in income and economic spin-offs. I would say if you ask people if they want a new car, they would probably say yes as well, but probably not so much if you qualify that they actually have to pay for it.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Okay. Anyone else want to add any commentary? All right. Councillor Fletcher.
Just poku noa taku mihi ki a mana whenua ko taimau nei tēnei rangi. Me te whakapau wera. Kaha ki tēnei ngā hua o awa pukumahi. Te ki te rā i te heke o motuhi te pahore o tuara tarau paoringa kia tutuki pai ai. Tēnei pepa kei muia tatau i tēnei wā. Me te mihi anō hoki ki ngā kōrero hītori. E kaha pānui tēnei au. Kore te puno o mihi e mimeti, tēnā koutou. I just wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate everyone involved on this incredible documentation. And I wanted to speak to the involvement of mana whenua within this process and the legitimacy that centuries of kōrero provided in getting a more informed scope of what that whenua means to mana whenua. And I think the quality of research done and presented as a part of this documentation, and I know a lot of it was pro bono work, speaks to the commitment that mana whenua have to the whenua, to the taiao, and the embodiment of, and I think of our kaumātua who are no longer with us, including the likes of my uncle, Te Kanawa Pitiroi, who was instrumental in laying down the foundation of these kōrero tuku iho that now lay the platform for this document that's presented to us today. The work done in that area, nothing short of incredible. And the submissions made on behalf of mana whenua spoke to the quality and spoke to the motivation around its importance. Rere kore te puno o mihi e mimiti. Tēnā tātou.
Kia ora, Councillor Fletcher. Thank you very much. Very good. Okay. Thank you very much, councillors and our staff. Councillor Campbell, question?
Yeah, no.
I don't want any comment. Just a question, please, if there's a question regarding the item.
Well, it's relating to, I did do my own background research on the potential value of the lakeshore camping, and I'll quote Mr. Tilton himself, actually. This is from the Waikato Times, 31st of July. And I did listen to him at the hearing. I heard his response at the hearing, and it was sort of a non-answer, if you like. This is his own words out of the Waikato Times, 31st of July. Mr. Tilton said, a total loss of foreshore camping would equate to a reduction in park income of about 45%, or 675,000 in the last financial year. That would mean the loss of 11,392 tourists annually to the waterfront section of the park. And of course, that's assuming that none of them would ever come back and that they wouldn't stay on the other side of the park. But I mean, that's the best I could get out of. I think it would be hard to dispute that the value to tourists will be diminished without the lakeside camping on the reserve, and I suppose it's fairly clear to me that the financial implications of the removal of lakeside camping have not really been meaningfully assessed, and it's not that easy a thing to do. I agree. I'm putting it out. I tried to get an answer to this question.
We've got the point, Councillor Campbell. I'll just shut it off there. Councillor Leonard?
I'd just like to also back up what my fellow elected members have said. Just thank you for the information, but also a huge thank you to the members of the community. Your thoughts, the submissions were detailed, a lot of information. Just like to express my thanks. Unfortunately, there are ways that we have to do things. There's a law, we have to ask for submissions. So thank you for taking the time. They're not always an easy form to fill out or a process to follow. So thank you for the time and the interest that you've taken in this issue. It's helped us to have some really sound information. Read and process, and to our staff as well for the information that you've provided to us. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Councillor Leonard.
Through the chair.
Okay, unless there's another question.
I have some questions.
Well,
Worship.
no, I think you've had
Your
your
Worship,
go.
I'm an elected
I think you
member
had to go.
with
One,
questions.
give us one question, please.
Your Worship, I don't think we should be limited because this is a fairly significant
Yeah,
issue. I
sorry.
have some questions, Your Worship.
You've had a fair enough go.
No, Your
and-
Worship, I'm an elected member.
Hey, and I'm the
one
chairman
one
of the
10,
I'm the
so-
chairman of the committee, and I unfortunately have the last say. So one question, I'm allowing one question of clarification.
One question. All right. Well, that's the nature of democracy in this place, chaps. My one question is regarding the lease negotiations and the nature of the lease negotiations, because Mr. Tilton has made it quite clear from the outset that he requires a new 30-year lease to be able to stay in business, to be able to satisfy his overseas investment office obligations for financial to get the finance. So my question really is, I would say this council is in a very strong position to, I'll say the word, coerce the issue of lakeside camping to cease at an earlier date than than 2038. So my question is the nature of the lease negotiations, including that condition for Mr. Tilton?
This item here is not subject of the lease negotiations. This is the approving the management plan, so that will come in due course. So thank you. All right, the resolution recommendation is up on the...
A point of order, Your Worship.
One and two. Do I have a
Point of
mover,
order.
please?
Point of
Councillor
order,
Taylor?
Your Worship.
Just a couple of things. If I may, just for the public record, to set things straight, what is being suggested here is that we engage in a public good process for the benefit of a private entity, which is effectively what my colleague is saying, that we should consider the private business good of an individual over the wider public good of everybody within the district. And that simply is not allowed within the Reserve Management Act, it's not allowed within the Resource Management Act, nor is it an effective use of a democratic process.
A point of
It
order,
would
that
actually,
was
I haven't finished
misrepresentation.
talking yet.
Point of order, misrepresentation.
Councillor Deputy Mayor, continue.
Finally, in relation to Mr. Tilton's comments, not quoting from a third-hand newspaper item, but minutes of the meeting and direct quote from Mr. Tilton, he was concerned about a Lagoima request regarding his financial dealings and did not want that in the public arena, and finally said he would be more than happy with whatever the committee agreed to and he would abide by that. So I'm not sure who's advocating for who, because Mr. Tilton himself has said, in his own words, he's quite comfortable with this.
Thank you very much. Deputy
All
Mayor.
due respect.
Councillor Lachlan?
When you're ready, Worship, I'm quite keen, like the privilege of moving this resolution.
Yep.
Or the two resolutions.
Through the
Thank you
chair,
very much.
through the chair, Your Worship, I'd
Do I
like to
have a
respond
second?
to that misrepresentation.
No, I'd ask you to be quiet now.
That was a
Thank you.
misrepresentation.
Been moved by Councillor Lachlan and seconded by Councillor Greenslade. Anyone want to speak against the item? I'll put the item now. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Oh, would you like that recorded?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. We'll just have a 3-5 minute recess, recess, and then we'll carry on with the rest of the meeting. Thank you very much, everyone. Kia ora, everyone. If I could call the meeting back to order, please. afternoon, Karen.
I call you out, Mr.
Okay. Okay, we go to 5.2. Withdrawn, yeah, I'll just let them know.
We started, justify you.
So councillors,
So 5.2, the item is withdrawn, Madam CEO.
yeah, so if I can request that is withdrawn off today's agenda, we will be reconvening the council meeting on Friday in order to deal with the annual report. Our auditors have just asked for a little more time, so my apologies for asking for that to be removed today.
So that's to be on Friday.
Correct.
Thank you very much, Madam CEO. I can't wait. All right, item 5.3, a land exchange, stopping of unformed legal road and acquisition of land and easements, the Napier Road and Poepi Road. Mr. Tom Swindells. Tom, good afternoon, Tom.
Good afternoon, Your Worship. Good afternoon, councillors. Today's paper is the accumulation of about 5 years of work for us, so I'm kind of hoping for a good early Christmas present if we can get this over the line. It's a reasonably legally heavy paper, so I'll sort of take it as read, but I'll give you a quick summary in my own words. What we're trying to do here is acquire 2 new reservoir sites. Both of these sites are on land owned by Landcorp. We've come up with a sneaky plan to exchange some land, effectively the old Napier Taupō Road, about 3 kilometres of it, which was never stopped, I guess, when the new road was built. So that road starts near the roundabout, near Mitre 10, heads about 3 kilometres up and joins with the current State Highway 5. And it crosses through Landcorp land that's currently planted in forest, and at the sort of eastern extent of it, the last few hundred metres, it crosses through some private land owned by Funnel Farms. So the intent of this exchange is to stop that piece of road and to exchange that piece of road for the 2 reservoir sites with Landcorp. We have worked our whole way through the process. We've completed surveys, we've negotiated the agreements with Landcorp and Funnel Farms. They are all signed up, those agreements. There's no obligation at the moment on council, but if we get agreement today, the intent is that we'll have the CEO sign those agreements. And effectively the process from there is that our consultant that's helping us out with this will then, the property group will write to the Minister of Land Information requesting that old State Highway 5 road is stopped, and all going to plan, that road will then be amalgamated with the Funnel Farms and Landcorp titles, and we will gain the 2 reservoir sites. There is a small risk, which is worth mentioning, that the Minister does not stop the road. Speaking with the property group about that, they have said Lynn's decision-making can at times be a little bit unpredictable, so there is a small risk. They said possibly that could be, like a reason for that could be a decision around public interest. If that occurred, then we could follow a Local Government Act process, which would then require public notification as an alternative to stopping the road through the Public Works Act. And if both of those processes fell over, we would be left with the only option would be to purchase the land direct. The road would stay as a unformed legal road. Probably covers everything off. It's quite technical, a little bit out of my wheelhouse maybe as an engineer, not a legal body, but I do have Karen Holman in the back if there's anything I can't answer, so happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. Okay, any questions? Councillor Campbell?
Yeah, Tom, that was appreciated the aerial photos get sort of sent through. But just a question on that State Highway 5 one, yeah, it was a little bit top-heavy in the legal language all through it. But it looked to me, and I'm probably wrong, that we're swapping half a hectare for 5 hectares? A 5 hectare strip? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, so we are swapping roughly 5 hectares of legal unformed road.
Yes.
We're giving that to Landcorp, and we gain 2 sort of roughly half-hectare blocks. One just off the edge of the Napier-Taupo Road for our Napier Road reservoir, and one off the Sayes Quarry Road, so on the other side of Taupo, for our new Pōhipi reservoir.
So it seems like they're getting a better deal just in terms of land area. I mean...
So we've worked through the valuation process, and they are getting a subtly better deal by about, I think it's about 25 grand. But if you put that in context, there's no real driver for Landcorp to go through this process at all. The road runs through their land. They're effectively using the road as their own land already.
Yeah.
So, if we didn't do this, they wouldn't be asking us to do this. So in a way, we're getting land for free. A comment from the property group speaking to them this morning is they said they think the government, when the road was moved, they should have closed it out at that point. So I guess we're getting the advantage of their mistake by not closing the road.
Tom, do you mind just explaining, where, just layman's term, where that road, where the Napier-Taupo part is, across the ETA?
Sorry, can you say that again?
The land that we're giving to Landcorp, the paper road.
Yep.
Where is that again?
So it runs from the south side of the Napier-Taupo Road, the current Napier-Taupo Road, and it runs from there heading east, and it joins back into the current Napier-Taupo Road opposite Mountain Road, pretty much. So it's about 3 kilometres of road that just runs through forest.
Right, okay. Cool. Didn't know we owned it.
Yeah, well, neither did we, to be honest, and we had to go through quite a process to figure out whether we did own it as well, which was established that we did. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Any other, and sorry, Sarah, good afternoon, nice to see you, welcome. Any other questions, Tom? Pretty straightforward, we need the land for reservoirs, so thank you for your item this afternoon. Do I have anyone that's prepared to move it? Thank you, Councillor Shepherd. Second, Councillor Westerman. No other further discussion? All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. 5 years done, Tom.
Merry Christmas.
Well done in negotiations, and appreciate that. And thanks to Pāmu as well, was it? Pāmu, who's the other parties?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you to the other negotiating parties for coming to agreement too. So, very good.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, team. Right, moving on, we have... Is that it? We just need to move to confidence now. For the reasons outlined, could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Fletcher. Seconded by Councillor Taylor. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against?